All right. This game, I want to tell you about this game. And the thing about this game was that it actually surprised me. I didn't expect Arsenal and Atletico to go at each other the way that they did. I was kind of expecting a snooze fest. I mean, we just came from one of the greatest, if not the greatest, Champions League match of all time, right? Because that was just amazing. That was PSG and Bayern playing football at its best. All right, but we're not talking about that today. Let's get back to Atletico against Arsenal. All right, I think the game was very good. I think it was an entertaining game of football until like the last 10 minutes where both teams were kind of like content with going with a draw. But otherwise, the rest of the game was just amazing end to end. Arsenal had most of the first half, right? A lot of the chances that went their way in the first half, and they looked like the more dominant team. And they were the more dominant team in the first half. They had most of the ball, they controlled, like, they made sure that Arsenal were basically playing a high press. So most of Arsenal were playing a high press and forcing Atletico to put the ball high, knowing that they have the physicality over Atletico, right? To head the ball and get the ball back into their position and keep attacking. So most of the game was actually played in Atletico's side of the field. That's in the first half, though. That's in the first half. In the second half, it was a completely different story. It was a completely different story, and I'll tell you about it. So Arsenal in the first half had most of the game, and they made sure to keep Atletico in their side of the field. So the most of the game was being played on Atletico's side of the field, and I think Madueke did well in the first half. He did create a couple of chances. One of them, which was I think the first big chance in the game, was when Madueke was running across wing, throws across to the far post, and Hincapia unfortunately couldn't finish it. I just hit it put the ball to the side netting. I just put it to the side for whatever reason. And Atletico had a response for Arsenal, though. They didn't just sit back and let them do what they're doing. In as much as Arsenal was in control, Atletico also had their fair share of. Atletico also had their fair share of chances. Their fair share of chances, and that's when Ruggeri threw in a low cross to Alvarez. Alvarez, well composed, able to keep two defenders behind him, accommodated over there, makes a turn, takes a shot, and a wonderful save by David Raya. Guys, we need to talk about Raya, because Raya has had one of the best seasons I've seen from a goalkeeper. Right? I think he's the best goalkeeper in the world right now. From looking at everything, I don't think that there's a goalkeeper that can go bar for bar with Raya right now. I think Raya just is on fire, man. Raya's on fire. So yeah, Raya definitely the best coach for the best goalie so far this season. I think he's just been phenomenal, both on the ball, both when making saves. Like, I think if you were to just go through Raya's saves and compared to a lot of other goalkeepers, I think Raya would still come out on top. I think it'd come out on top on most of the stats, actually. I think it'd come out on top on all of the stats. Okay, maybe not, I'm exaggerating. But he's been fantastic. He's been really, really fantastic. Like, honestly, I can't imagine anyone who's been doing a better job than Raya. He's just literally eating them up. He's eating up the competition. And then Atletico had a second chance in the first half. And then again, it was Ruggeri from the wing, crossing the ball over to Alvarez. Alvarez hit her, and it misses. Right, so So yeah, it misses. It was kind of like half a chance considering the distance that he was away from the post. So like I think yeah, that wasn't the best of chances, but it was still another chance. And I've been talking so much about Alvarez, man. I've been talking about Alvarez, and I've been talking so much about Alvarez and Bruggery and Atletico. Another honorable mention is Madueke, man. He had a great game. He created a few chances in the first half, and I think he was the most dangerous person in the first half. And then it was Gyökeres for a while, because when Gyökeres came in for Havertz, I think he did a great job. I think he did a great job. I think actually in that game, I kind of noticed how good Gyökeres actually is. Because he's quite fast, he has the pace, he also has the strength to hold off defenders. And not only that, he also understands how to play the game. So it's not like he's a bad passer or anything, but he's still good at playing the game. And I just feel like he could be used a little bit more. I feel like just making him a main number nine target man type of thing, where you're expecting him to hold off long balls and just hold off play, is not 100% the best fit for him. I think if you play him more like the way Bayern are doing with Harry Kane, where Harry Kane does move infield and moves back to the defenders, helps out a lot in defending, and actually he's sometimes part of the back line at some points, right? But I think Gyökeres has that capability to be able to do that. Now, I'm not saying he's on the same level before you come here and bite me and just finish me for having an opinion. I'm not saying he's better than Kane. Kane is on another level right now. He's Dev's Ballon d'Or level. This is Ballon d'Or Kane. This is, yeah, the King Kane that they were talking about. Now it's official. Now he's Himothy. Now he's him. So right, enough about the Ballon d'Or debate and Harry Kane. Time to get back to the game. So the first penalty actually came from a great combination from Martin Odegaard to Zubimendi, and Zubimendi to Gyökeres, and then Gyökeres was fouled, obviously. And that's what led to the penalty. And Gyökeres, obviously, of course, clinical, lethal, puts it into the back of the net. All right, guys, so let's get to the second half of the game. Now, this is where things shifted, right? So in the first half, Arsenal were dominant. They were dominating the game. But in the second half, there was a switch. It was now Atletico with most of the possession, Atletico with the high press, Atletico forcing Arsenal to play long balls simply because they shifted, right? So, because they were one goal behind, Arsenal now had a goal in hand. They were a little bit more relaxed, and Atletico were more in a nothing left to lose type of mentality and approach. Export of this free kick. And you could see this approach work when Atletico got their first chance. There was a foul. Alvarez took the free kick. Of course, it was going to be Alvarez because that left foot of his is just a blessed. It never misses, bro. It never misses. Except this time it did. It was inches away. Beautiful free kick, by the way. Beautiful technique. It was inches away. But then again, Raya had it covered. David Raya, man. David Raya. That's why I've been saying throughout the video that Raya is the best goalkeeper in the world right now. And he's just having the best season, the season of his life right now. But let me not take anything away from Alvarez, because the first portion of the second half was all Alvarez. Alvarez was running the second half. After missing the free kick by an inch, Alvarez almost provided an assist for Lookman, gave it to Lookman, and then Lookman shoots it directly into Oblak. Right, he didn't have the composure there. I think if he was a little bit more composed, that would have been a goal for Atleti, and Atleti would have been 1-1. Now, Alvarez did have a few chances in the second half. They didn't go his way, unfortunately. At some point, he hit the post. At other points, he was blocked. Most of the time, was blocked, which I think was very, very smart by Arsenal, and good job by Saliba and Gabriel to make sure that he doesn't really get a chance to take a shot. Because we all know when Alvarez gets a chance to take that shot, he will make it count. So to wrap this up, Atleti then got a penalty, a very controversial penalty. Some people argue it's not, some people argue it is. I personally do think it's a penalty, considering the fact that come penalty like yung bebo
Dia ingatir, dia ingakorwo or dia ingaan.
Dia nga po yung bebo ka yung bebo.
Yung bebo ka. So.
Alright.
I don't know why out of position.
Alright, so to wrap this up, Atleti then got a penalty in the second half. A lot of people say it wasn't a penalty. Most people say it wasn't a penalty. It's mostly football pundits from the Premier League that like to say that was saying that. But I personally do think that it was a penalty. Right? Ben White's hand was far away from his body, and it obviously has to be a penalty because hands are not part of the game, guys. Let's not forget that. Hands are really not part of the game. Right? Otherwise, let me know what you think in the comments. And do let me know who you think is going to win the Champions League this season. And I'll come back to you guys with a video on the second leg and my predictions on the second leg. Otherwise, thank you for watching.